Well look, he's been making noise showing everyone that he is destined to be great, and during the NBA season, we got to witness it in every which way. Victor Wembanyama makes things on the court look unreal, as if we're living in his own creative world, and when you remember that Shaq claimed that Bobo was better than Wemby, it shows you how much he had to prove to some people. Regardless of some hate here and there, Wemby's hype coming into the league was ridiculous, and after a season like we just seen, it proves that he is indeed here to stay. Averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks on 46% shooting from the field and 32% from deep won Victor the Rookie of the Year, and although to some people he's still overrated, Wemby's talent is truly undeniable once you look at all the ways he can affect the game. With his agility at 7'4", Wemby can stop the drive on the pick and roll, recover back quickly, and unlike people thought would happen with Wemby and Zion due to the power dynamic, Wemby utilized that length to smack this off the glass with the left hand. His ability to move on the court along with his size allows him to cover a lot of ground, so when Lauri Markkanen thinks he has a mismatch and a 4-short bucket, well, he better think twice. This movement isn't only used for blocking shots, as he'll stay patient waiting on LaMelo to run out to him, and then immediately break past him towards the basket for that alley-oop connection. For opposing teams, they can't just be lazy or unaware of where he's at on the court, or else he'll make you pay for it, and hey, not just on one end, but both. When you watch Wemby operate on the defensive end, you may think it comes easy due to his length and height, but it's not easy to track down the ball consistently and stay disciplined. When looking at Wemby, he will stay down through all the moves you try to feed him, and by the time you go up, he already has your number. It's like just when you thought you had an opening, he'll show you that he's never out the plate, and when watching this possession versus the Cavs, you can see Wemby is able to first take away the drive off the pick and roll, get back to Mobley down low, and when Okoro decides to attack the rim, it looks wide open on this right side. But here's where that block you aren't expecting ruins your entire day. Just to take it up a notch, Wemby will first contest this Austin Reeves jumper, and then when Reeves gets a hold of the loose ball, Wemby can track him down to pin this off the glass. It truly doesn't matter what moves or openings the offense may have, Wemby can still make things tough around the basket for anyone who tries him. You can see here that Franz Wagner gets to step on him after this low carry pickup, and against most bigs in the league, this is a 4-short bucket, but with Wembanyama, this is a setup for an easy block. To negate that shot blocking near the rim, you'll see Michael not even think about driving when coming off this screen, and although he opts into this step back to create that space, well, the length of Wemby is still too much to outbeat. Those long arms present a whole new challenge for offenses because not only will he block jumpers, but even when you put the shot up extra high, Wemby will still get up to block the shot, and this one right here comes off the very top of the backboard. Yeah, quite ridiculous if you ask me. No matter how much you want to avoid him, you just can't. As here Nembhard notices Wemby ready to help, so he goes behind the back to change directions, and now when you think you escaped him, all you really did was fool yourself. If we're being honest, it's not often we see rookies possess this much skill defensively, as it takes great instincts, discipline, and coordination to match up with multiple defenders. You can see right here that Wembanyama will first cover Kuzma coming off this screen and roll to take away the layup, and although he does get in the air this time, Sohan is there to deter Kuzma from going up, so when this pass is made to Gafford, Wemby can rotate onto him and then just grab this shot out the air. So for the offense, they really got to try everything they can, but with Wemby's incredible movement on this side of the ball, it's going to be highly difficult for anyone to just score on him with ease. Now, like we touched on earlier, his movement around the court doesn't just help him defensively, as when we flip to the offensive side of things, this fluid movement gives him a major advantage. It'll of course give him a boost on defense so he can send these shots back to the earth, but it's not like he just relaxes afterwards, as instead he runs the floor to go catch this nasty lob. When you take a look around the league, how many 7-footers can we name that move like this? And before you answer, make sure they can break Paul George by changing directions on this cut from the 3-point line to then soaring for an emphatic slam. Now be honest, can you really name many people that are doing that? I truly think not. And if we look at the same game, he not only broke off Paul George, but he made Kawhi Leonard nearly touch the earth on this cut back towards the basket, and once receiving the ball down low, there's not much they can really do. Having a big that'll move off ball to find the openings is always valuable to a team, because when defenders fall asleep like Draymond does here, Wemby will burst out to behind the 3-point line, and when you're a couple steps too late, you might as well not even bother. To execute this to perfection, you have to have great awareness and court navigation, so when you see Wemby gets cut off going baseline, he reroutes towards the middle, which makes Claxton get relaxed, and then when he abruptly explodes out to that 3-point line, it catches the defense off guard, and now he can flow right into the jumper. Not only does it make it easier for his teammates on the court, as they know they'll have a man working to get open at all times, but it opens up multiple opportunities on the floor. Take this play here for an example. When Wemby receives this screen and run off towards the rim, the threat of him scoring is heavy. So this makes Jalen and Al take a step towards the basket, but right here is where the option to hit a shooter opens up if they get behind the line. But hey, who are we kidding? We have the more reliable option in Wemby cutting to the basket, so that's why this lob is sent over the top for him to go score. Furthermore, you'll see Wemby break off some of the most athletic guys in the league, such as Giannis right here when he changes directions, and now when he receives the ball, he has the option to go up right away as the runway is clear, but say this defender right here commits to him, he could dump it off to Johnson instead, but I'm pretty sure we all know how this one ends.
Inside, Wembanyama got it.
Now you can't lie, seeing a guy his size move like that is pretty wild, and it's not just the fact that he can move fluid, but it's the fact that he is explosive, which makes it even more difficult for the defense. You can see on this play that Luke Kornet is stepping up to cover Wembanyama, but with him unaware that this burst is coming, he gives up that backdoor cut, and like we discussed earlier, if you're one step late, you might as well not even try to block it. This movement off the ball isn't just solely dependent on him flowing throughout the offense on his own, as you can use Wemby as a screener in the pick and roll scenarios, and if you leave any gap of space, well, this pass can be slipped to him, and with a clear path ahead of him, he soars in for the slam. For the defense, it's not ideal that they allow him to get started towards the basket with no friction, because now you leave your backline of defense vulnerable, and hey, I'll let you hear the rest. For most bigs around the league, you're able to stay back and meet him at the rim, but when you're dealing with someone who is 7'4" with a near 10-foot wingspan, you really don't have that luxury. Once you give Wemby enough space to get into his gather, it's pretty much a done deal, because from there, he can stretch out and make this look easy. Now once defenders get used to him rolling off these screens and slamming it on their head, he'll switch it up and pop out behind the line after he sets the screen instead, and it doesn't matter if the defender is 6'3" or 7 foot, you better be right in his face when he catches or else it's straight cash. Now I'm sure some of you are probably looking at his 32% conversion rate on threes and thinking he's not really nothing to worry about, but boy oh boy do I have something for you. When we break down his three-point shooting into two separate shot types, you can see that Wemby is far more effective when pulling up from three, connecting on 37% of his 2 attempts per game. This stat alone should put the whole entire NBA on alert. Not because of the percentage itself, but it's that this is a rookie showing how confident he is pulling up off the dribble, and to add even more, it's your big man who's 7 foot plus rising up from deep, not one of the guards. These pull-ups aren't just basic either, as Wemby will create space by getting into the defender's body, and with that step back, he can now pull the trigger comfortably. Being able to use his handle against other bigs grants him a huge advantage, as they won't be expecting him to serve a move to then nail the jumper right over them, and even sometimes all it takes is a simple jab step to shift the defender, and then the step back is added in for good measure. Now this isn't me saying that he's super shifty with the handle, but the thing is that defenders don't want to let him get to the rim, so they'll tend to buy hard on his moves at times, and once you're a couple steps back like we stated, well you're just giving up 3 points. Like look here, it doesn't take a single dribble to make Eubanks give a big reaction, and with confidence, it's right on the money. Shooting it off the dribble like this will be key to unlocking Wemby's game, because now defenders can't sit back and just wait for him in the paint, as they'll have to guard him out high, and even if they do get up with him chest to chest, he can use that handle to generate a gap of space between him and the defender to knock it down. Now let's say the defense does do a great job at taking away his 3-point looks, well they now have an even bigger problem to worry about, and that's his scoring ability inside. When you have to guard someone of his stature, it's already difficult enough, and when you add in that he can move fluid and he's confident, it takes things to another level. You can rope in that movement off ball with his inside scoring, as here Wemby gets crafty with the spin off Olynyk who tries to cheat the play, and mama there goes that man. Being crafty like this allows Wemby to avoid contact with guys to then get to his spots, and if you watch very close, you'll see him palm the ball on the way up to throw this off the glass and in with the left hand. Now hey, there are those times where he can't avoid the contact and is already right there at the rim, but going back to that size advantage that we talked about earlier, he'll use that turnaround while absorbing the contact and nails the and one. This right here is just the start to his inside scoring though, because Wemby can get extremely creative with his navigation to the paint by splitting the defense, and then goes to throw this off the glass to himself for the bucket. I know, we've seen self alley-oops before, so it may not seem that special, but how many times do we see a 7-footer smoothly go behind the back off the catch to go by his man on the gamble, and then Euro pass the help defense when en route to the rim to finish it off with ease? Yeah, we can all be honest, it's not often that you turn on a game and you see this happen. He'll go from saucing up smaller defenders with his handle to then punch it home, to then serving bigs the combo handle to connect on this ridiculous reverse inside, and if you really want to see something special, he'll come off this handoff action to attack downhill, and once the defender takes that angle to cut him off, Wemby wraps the ball behind his back to continue towards the rim and lay it home. Trust me when I say it, this Victor Wembanyama kid is pretty good. In all aspects he can affect the game, no matter if it's defense or offense, and with a rookie year like we just seen, the sky is truly the limit. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.